During a family BBQ, she said, "He's just helping me heal. My real love story starts next year." Her uncle laughed. I just kept flipping burgers. That night I left and scheduled a moving truck for everything I bought. She came back to a bare apartment. I met Allie 2 years ago at a local dive bar. I was there watching a basketball game with some buddies, and she was there with her girlfriend celebrating someone's promotion. Our eyes met across the room, and the rest played out like a cheesy rom-com. We talked all night, exchanged numbers, and started dating a week later. Allie was fun, outgoing, and seemed genuinely into me. She laughed at my lame jokes, showed interest in my hobbies, and made me feel like I mattered. After 6 months, we decided to move in together. Her lease was ending, and it made financial sense. I had a decent 1-bedroom apartment that I'd been in for about 3 years. Here's the thing about our arrangement. I paid the rent. Allie covered utilities and groceries, which was fair since my rent was significantly more than those combined. I'd also furnished the entire place myself before she moved in. I'm talking everything: couch, TV, bed, dining table, kitchenware, even the shower curtain. Allie brought her clothes, some decorative pillows, and a couple of potted plants. Things were good for the first year. We had our disagreements like any couple, but nothing major. Then Allie lost her job. She worked in marketing for a startup that went under. Suddenly, she couldn't cover her share of expenses. I told her not to worry, that I'd handle everything until she found something new. It was tight, but I made it work. 3 months went by. Allie applied to a few places, but didn't seem particularly motivated to find work. She spent most days binge-watching shows and scrolling through social media. When I'd gently ask about her job search, she'd get defensive and say things like, "Do you know how hard it is out there?" Or, "I'm not just going to take any job." I backed off, not wanting to pressure her when she was already down. Instead, I picked up extra shifts at the warehouse where I worked as a supervisor. The overtime helped cover our expenses, but I was exhausted. Still, I told myself this was temporary. That's what partners do. They support each other through tough times. Fast forward to last month. Allie finally got a job offer from a marketing agency. It wasn't her dream role, but it was in her field and paid well. I was thrilled. We celebrated with a nice dinner, and I thought things would get back to normal. Then came the family BBQ. Allie's family lived about an hour away, and we'd visit them once a month or so. Her parents were nice enough, if a bit snobbish. They'd never said it outright, but I always got the sense they thought Allie could do better than a warehouse supervisor. Her extended family was a mixed bag, some friendly, some not so much. This particular BBQ was at her Uncle Dave's place. He had a huge backyard with a built-in grill, pool, the works. About 20 family members were there, plus a few friends of the family. I volunteered to man the grill because, honestly, it gave me something to do and kept me from awkward small talk. I was flipping burgers when Allie came over with her cousin Jen and Jen's new boyfriend. They were talking about relationships, and Jen asked how Allie and I were doing. What happened next still plays in my head on repeat. "Oh, you know," Allie said with a dismissive wave. "He's just helping me heal. My real love story starts next year." Her Uncle Dave, who was standing nearby getting a beer from the cooler, laughed. Not a shocked laugh, but an amused one, like he was in on some joke. Jen looked uncomfortable and quickly changed the subject. They walked away, leaving me standing there, spatula in hand, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. I just kept flipping burgers. For the rest of the BBQ, I went through the motions. I smiled when appropriate, made small talk, and pretended I hadn't heard my girlfriend of 2 years basically say I was nothing but a placeholder until something better came along. On the drive home, Allie chatted about family gossip, completely oblivious to the fact that my world had just imploded. Or maybe she knew exactly what she'd done and didn't care. Either way, I kept quiet, nodding occasionally as my mind raced. We got home around 9 p.m. Allie said she was tired from the sun and was going to take a shower and go to bed. I said I was going to watch TV for a bit. As soon as I heard the bathroom door close and the shower start, I got to work. I didn't want a confrontation. I didn't want tears or excuses or gaslighting. I just wanted out. I packed a duffel bag with clothes and essentials. I grabbed my important documents from the filing cabinet. I took pictures of everything in the apartment that I'd purchased, making a detailed inventory on my phone. Then I went online and scheduled a moving company for 11 a.m. the next day, a Monday, when I knew Allie would be at her new job. I texted my buddy Mike and asked if I could crash at his place for a few days. He replied with a thumbs up and no questions asked. After getting Mike's confirmation, I also went online and reserved a storage unit at a nearby facility. They had a special first-month deal with 24-hour access, which was perfect for my situation. I wrote a short note and left it on the kitchen counter. Allie, I heard what you said at the BBQ. I'm not anyone's placeholder or healing journey. I've arranged for movers to pick up my belongings tomorrow. I've paid rent through the end of the month, so you have time to figure out your next steps. Since only my name is on the lease, you'll need to talk to the landlord about taking it over or finding a new place. Don't call me. Jason. Then I left, quietly closing the door behind me. That night at Mike's, I turned off my phone. I didn't want to deal with the inevitable barrage of calls and texts that would come once Allie read my note. I lay on his couch staring at the ceiling, feeling a mix of pain, anger, and, surprisingly, relief. Like I'd just put down a heavy weight I'd been carrying for too long. The next day, I called in sick to work. I also sent an email to my boss explaining that I was dealing with a personal emergency and might need a couple more days off. He was understanding. I rarely missed work and had plenty of sick days accumulated. I met the movers at my apartment at 11 a.m. as planned. Allie was gone, her car not in its usual spot. I let the movers in and directed them on what to take, referring to my inventory list. Couch, TV, bed, dining table, all my kitchen stuff, my books, my gaming console. Everything that was mine. I had hired a 3-person crew specifically because I knew there was a lot to move, and some items like the bed frame and dining table would need disassembly. I'd brought along folders with receipts for the major purchases I'd made before Allie moved in, just in case any questions came up later about ownership. Everything was clearly documented as my property. I'd rented a small storage unit the night before, and that's where most of it went. Some essentials came with me to Mike's. By 3:30 p.m., the movers were done. It had taken longer than expected, nearly 4.5 hours, but they worked efficiently given the amount of furniture and belongings. I did a final walkthrough of the apartment. It looked barren now, almost unrecognizable. Just a few decorative pillows on the floor where the couch had been. A couple of potted plants on the windowsill. Allie's clothes in the closet. I left my key on the counter next to the note, which hadn't been moved. I also dropped off a copy of the key and a letter explaining the situation to my landlord's office, formally notifying them that while I'd paid through the end of the month, I would not be renewing the lease. Then I left for good. Around 5:30 p.m., my phone, which I'd turned back on, exploded with notifications. Calls, texts, voicemails, all from Allie. I didn't read or listen to any of them. Instead, I blocked her number immediately. Shortly after blocking her number, the social media messages started coming in. First pleading, then angry, then back to pleading. Jason, please call me. I can explain. WTF? You took everything? This is so childish. It was just a joke. Please come back. I didn't mean it. I blocked her on all social media platforms too. The next wave came from her friends. They called me selfish, immature, cruel. According to them, I'd left poor Allie with nothing but the clothes on her back, not true, and no warning, also not true. I blocked them too. Finally, her sister called. I almost didn't answer, but decided to hear what she had to say. What you did was cold, she started, but I get it. What Allie said was messed up. She's been saying stuff like that to her friends for months. That was another gut punch. Months? While I was working overtime to support her? She's staying with our parents for now. Her sister continued. They're helping her buy some basic furniture. She'll be okay. Good to hear, I said, my voice flat. For what it's worth, I think she really does care about you. She's just, I don't know, lost, maybe. That's not my problem anymore. No, I guess it's not. She paused. Take care, Jason. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm still at Mike's, but I'm looking for a new place. I've heard through mutual friends that Allie's parents bought her a new couch and bed, and she's back in the apartment. Our apartment. Her apartment now. I went back to work after 2 days, thus having sorted out my immediate living situation at Mike's. My boss was supportive, especially after I briefly explained I had gone through a sudden breakup and needed to move unexpectedly. I threw myself into work, picking up extra shifts again. Not because I needed the money this time, but because it kept my mind occupied. Some people have told me I went too far, that taking everything was cruel. But here's how I see it. I paid for all of it. Every single item. I had documentation and receipts proving it was all purchased before she moved in, or solely with my money during our relationship. And more importantly, I'd paid all the rent for months while she contributed nothing. Not just financially, but emotionally too. I was working myself to exhaustion to support someone who saw me as nothing more than a stepping stone to something better. I won't pretend I'm not hurt. I am. But I'm also angry, and that anger has kept me from calling her, from giving in to those moments of weakness where I miss the good times. Because the thing is, I deserve better than to be someone's healing journey. I deserve to be someone's destination. Update. 3 months later. A lot has happened since my last post, so I thought I'd give you all an update. First, I found my own place about a month ago. It's a small studio, but it's all mine, and I've set it up exactly how I want. I got most of my stuff out of storage, sold a few things that didn't fit in the new place, and bought some new items too. Fresh start, fresh furniture. As for Allie, she tried to contact me a few more times after my original post. She even showed up at my workplace once, but security didn't let her in. Eventually, she seemed to get the message and stopped trying. Then, about a month ago, I ran into her cousin Jen at a coffee shop. She told me Allie had moved back in with her parents and was subletting the apartment. Apparently, even with her new job, she couldn't afford the rent on her own. No surprise there. She tells everyone you abandoned her, Jen said, but I was there. I heard what she said at the BBQ, and it wasn't the first time she'd something like that. Jen went on to explain that Allie had a pattern of using people as emotional crutches, then discarding them when she felt healed or ready to move on. She'd done it with friends, previous boyfriends, even jobs. The family enables it, Jen admitted. Especially her parents. They bail her out every time. That's why Uncle Dave laughed at the BBQ. He's seen this movie before. Jen also explained that Allie's new job wasn't paying as much as she'd led me to believe. It was an entry-level position with potential for growth, but the starting salary was modest. Combined with her poor money management and the full rent being about twice what she could afford on her current salary, there was no way she could maintain the apartment on her own. I thanked Jen for her honesty. It didn't make me feel better about what happened, but it did confirm I'd made the right decision. 2 weeks after that coffee shop encounter, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Allie, writing from a new phone. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need to say this. I'm sorry. What I said was horrible, and you didn't deserve it. I've been doing a lot of thinking and talking to a therapist, and I realize now how much I took you for granted. I miss you. I miss us. Is there any chance we could talk? I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it completely. Another part wanted to respond with anger. In the end, I opted for honesty. Allie, I appreciate the apology, but it's too late. What you said at the BBQ wasn't a slip-up or a bad joke. It was a glimpse into how you really saw me, as temporary, as less than what you really wanted. I deserve better than that. I hope your therapy helps you, and I hope your real love story works out, but it won't be with me. She replied immediately. I understand. I really am sorry. For what it's worth, you were always too good for me. I just couldn't see it. I didn't respond to that. There was nothing left to say. Last week, I got promoted at work. I'm now a logistics manager with better hours and better pay. I've also started dating again, casually for now. Nothing serious, just getting back out there. As for the cruel act of taking everything from the apartment, I have no regrets. Some lessons need to be hard to be effective. Allie learned that her actions and words have consequences. I learned that I need to value myself more and not ignore red flags. In a strange way, I'm grateful for that BBQ. If I hadn't overheard Allie's comment, I might have wasted years with someone who saw me as nothing more than a pit stop on her journey to something better. Instead, I'm now on my own journey, And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see where it leads.